Say, man, you see my crab cakes? Till I'm all alone. If you see my crab cakes, tell her things went wrong. Don't call on the phone and bring a black dog home. A little tartar too. Come on, little girl, tell me what you want to do. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. So come on, baby, let's get Louisiana down. If you see my crab cake, have you seen my crab cake? If you see my crab cake, tell I'm all alone. Tell her I still love her, and when she come back home.
Now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt. And one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
And we're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Calogero, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening. Whenever you listen, hope you're doing all right. Give a shout out to LDL TV and all the YouTube watchers, viewers, whatever you guys are. The ones that can pay attention for more than 6 to 8 minutes, because that's the general length of a YouTube video. We rock the boat on YouTube, apparently. But we got a nice little following now, so let's just shout out to you guys. Don't forget the show is being brought to you in part by Cat's Nationwide Luxury Transportation Services. If you're looking for a limo and you're someplace in the United States or even Canada, and you happen to want a really hot driver driving you around, well, then you need to give my girl, Cat, a call. 202-351-7496. That's 202-351-7496. Cat's Nationwide. Luxury Transportation Service is ready to hook you up, man. 202-351-7496. Make sure you tell Billy C sent you. Show is also being brought to you in part by Cameron Aaron Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That is Cameron Aaron Tomkovich, 845-221-4099. Whether you're looking for contract law, whether somebody's got a contract. No, not that kind of contract. If you're looking for a contract, if you're maybe buying a house, selling a house, maybe you need somebody to look over a contract somebody's offering you. Maybe you got a will. You got to change now that you are an avid listener to the show. You want to leave everything to me. You got to change that around. Maybe you got a matrimonial issue. Maybe you even got some criminal charges up against you. Well, you need to give Camp and Aaron Tomkovich a call today, 845-221-4099. And like Kat, you show up at that office. There's a lot of hotties hanging around there. It's worthwhile just to sit in the waiting room and read a couple of mags. They'll be like, you have an appointment? Oh, no, I was just checking you guys out. If you call Camp and Aaron Tomkovich, 845-221-4099, and make an appointment, I'm going to pick up your consultation fee. That's right. You tell him Billy C sent you, and that I'm picking up the consultation fee. 845-221-4099. Let Camp and Aaron Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. And, of course, the show's being brought to you in part by my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls, New York. Check them out. Always great people there. Drink specials all the time. They got live entertainment on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. And on Sunday and Mondays, they got the girls bouncing around playing beach volleyball. That's right. Got the beach volleyball leagues going on. And you know what? If you like hot sauce, or if you like Louisiana hot sauce, no. If you like wings with hot sauce, yeah. You got to try. If you're man enough or woman enough, you got to try the Billy C hot sauce. But you got to make sure Craig makes it for you. Give him a call, 518-792-4869, 792-4869, Halftime Bar and Grill. And the show's also being brought to you in part by the Whitehall Athletic Club. That's right, in Whitehall, New York, the birthplace of the United States Navy happens to be Whitehall, New York. And the Whitehall Athletic Club, great place, man. Check it out. As a matter of fact, you should join. They got boating, they got fishing, they got, what else do they got? They got a shooting range in and outdoors. They got basketball in and outdoors. They got a great workout center. They're finishing up the gym. They got saunas. They got it all. And they have live events, too. If you're a member, you get these live events. You get passes to all the live events, as it's included in your membership. But if you just want to show up for live events like the World Championship boxing event that's taking place on August 24th, which is just around the corner between Chevelle Fist of Steel Halbach and Victoria Cisneros at the Whitehall Athletic Club, check that out. All the information about the club and about the show and about tickets and all that happy stuff can be found at their website, www.whitehallathleticClub.com. So, Whitehall Athletic Club, look forward to that. Before I get into a couple of emails from the mailbag, and I got to be real careful with that, because I never get it right. That's why. I want to remind everybody, no live show on Friday. There will be no live show on Friday. Now, don't worry. If everybody watching on TV or watching or listening on a radio dial, you will have a show, so don't worry. But we want you to join us in good old Georgia. That's right. I'm going to be doing a broadcast in Georgia. You can check out ldltv.com for all the information, or you can go to our website, because I know you got your homepage set to billycboxing.com, and click the fight poster. Grady Brewer is fighting Gio Barthélemy for the IBO Intercontinental Junior middleweight title. That's the main event. The thing is that the winner of this fight is going to be eligible for the IBO's world title. So we're looking forward to that. We're going to be broadcasting it. Yours truly is going to be calling the action ringside, and as is the case all the time, if you're there at the Cobb County Mall Galleria, I don't know where it is. The Cobb County It's like the Cobb County Center. Yeah. It's Cobb Job Center. No. It's just click the. Do yourself a favor. Click the poster on BillyCBoxing.com. If you show up, say hello. I'll give you a prize. Yeah, you just got to say hello. I'll give you a prize. Unless you're, a beautiful woman, then we'll give you the bonus prize. Oh God, what was in my coffee? But anyway. Definitely check out that show. Hey, if you're not going to be in Georgia, why don't you watch it on LDL TV or wherever else it's going to be? You got to find that information by going on our website. We're also doing the show on the 24th, like I mentioned a little earlier, and then don't forget about the big post-fight show. Oh, before that, September 7th we'll be down in Tampa. So make sure you mark that one down. Tampa's always a nice place. Alessi Promotions puts on great shows all the time. Looking forward to doing those. And on that's September 7th. September 8th, big night for boxing. Among some of the big fights that are scheduled, Chad Dawson against Andre Ward. And you know how we're always talking about Andre Ward, not having it. What is it? Blah, 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 blah. I was so psyched when I saw they put the camera on him at the Robert DeGoes Guerrero fight, which I'm going to be getting into in a little bit. And they put the camera on him, and he got a huge applause. I mean, granted, it was in California, but still, that's pretty good stuff. So we'll be doing the post-fight show on the 8th right here out of the studio. Then the following week, I think beginning on the 10th, all the way up, that whole fight week, leading up to the big dual fight weekend coming to us from Las Vegas, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. against Sergio Martinez, and of course up the street, Josito Lopez is going to be fighting a guy way bigger than him, and Saul Alvarez. We're going to be doing the show live from Las Vegas. From what I understand, we're tentatively scheduled to do this show live from Las Vegas. So I'm excited about that. We'll probably be doing it at a different time. And immediately following that great night of boxing, we're going to be doing a post-fight show from the Fight Now studio. So we're excited about that. Busy few weeks coming up, so make sure you mark all that stuff down. And speaking of coming up, tomorrow we got who's regarded as the top American heavyweight contender, I guess. Seth Mitchell. That's right. He's going to be on the show tomorrow, so make sure you tune in there. Hey, I'm going to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to read some emails. And one other thing I wanted to mention, Wednesday we're twisting it up a little bit. No, we're not twisting one of those up. We're talking about twisting the show up a little bit. Yeah. We're going to be, Alex and I, instead of doing a blast from the past, we're going to focus on the Olympics. I don't know about you guys. I'm not much of an amateur fan, but I'm becoming one. The Olympics are pretty cool. They're pretty cool. I got to watch that first couple of days worth. So, but all of those countries, Kakistan, Kukukistan, blah, blah, blah.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Roselli Enterprises. Roselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flow boys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Roselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RoselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IBO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the number 15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IBO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the number 15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at iboboxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you. I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. I'm chatting with my man Hanging Fire in the chat room. The chat room's been alive. It was going through a little real slow period lately, but today it's a little slow. It's just me and him talking one-on-one. And we're talking a little about the Olympics, and he just mentioned Rasheed Warren. It's they keep showing a clip of him and all his problems last year with stopping the fight too soon or whatever the case was, and having a disagreement with his corner or his corner dropping the ball, whatever it was. I mean, and that was the second time. This is his third Olympics, and I believe because I was actually listening to these guys talk. Bob Papa and Teddy Atlas make a decent team. Teddy is just. I actually think, and I'm going to talk about this a little later. I actually think Teddy is better at the amateur level. I think he's more informative. I think he gets a little more carried away with the when he's doing the pro stuff. Now, the only thing I will say about Teddy is that he was not. I mean, every chance he got, he knocked the Olympic Committee. I mean, if I'm them, I ban him. He knocked him last time. He's knocking him this time. He was actually making fun of Bob Papa, who actually knew where some of these countries were that these fighters were from. But I found it interesting to listen to. I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. BJ Flores, who I think does a fantastic job in the pros, sucks in the amateurs. So it just goes to show you, everybody's got their own strengths. And who the heck is the other guy? Where'd they get him from? I think he was selling hot dogs earlier in the day. But anyway, we got all the fights coming up. We got some news I want to talk about. All the fight results coming up, I should say. Big fight in California with Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Yeah. I liked him more, I think, before the fights, but I'll get to that in a sec. EQX says Oscar started. Okay, this is based follow up on the tweet war. Like we have street fighting. This was tweet fighting that took place last week between 50 Cent and Golden Boy. He says, and this is EQX, says Oscar started the Twitter fight by saying everyone wants to get into boxing. It's not easy. Good luck, etc. Very patronizing. So 50 Cent tweeted back what we were talking about on Friday. Yeah. I wonder if Oscar's really the guy doing the tweets, and, who it is. At times I really believe that it is Oscar. And, he comes out with some really stupid crap, man. I'll tell you the truth. But my only comment on 50 Cent was, his choice of words. I mean, he was, for a guy as successful as him, and speaking of success, my man Henrique, he mapped it out for me. Here's a quick fitty tutorial. Because I was saying, how successful he was, but I really wasn't that familiar with him. To be honest with you, I just wasn't. It's not my thing. So he says, number one, 50 Cent sold over 60 million records. Wow, that's a lot. I haven't even sold, 100 books yet. So, I haven't sold any, to tell you the truth, because it's not even out. It's not even out until November, so technically I haven't sold any. 60 million records. It's pretty damn good for 50 Cent. He says he made over $400 million in just a vitamin water deal. That's a ton of cash. $400 million. I'd like to hang around his living room. If he's got $400 million just from one thing, wonder how much money you can get from his sofa. How some people like drop change and stuff. I bet you 50 Cent. He's dropping $100 bills, and you clean up the sofa, and you can make a car payment or something. He says he has a movie production company. It's called Cheetah Vision. It has a $200 million deal with Lionsgate. He's got movies that he's been in with De Niro, Pacino, and more. He's got an energy shot called SK, which the proceeds goes to feeding kids in Africa. Every shot sold equals one meal through the World Food Program. That's great stuff, man. That's great stuff. I guess you can't judge a book by its cover, man. I love hearing guys that or gals that are very successful and they give something back. I wish you would give something back to the United States, to our own starving population. But I think that's great that he does that. I'm amazed, and I'm becoming a 50 Cent fan big time. Let me tell you, he says he owns SMS Audio, which produces consumer electronics. Had no idea about that. And he says he owns a pop culture website called thisis50.com, which, according to my man Henrique, says he gets over 30 million unique visitors per month. He says the bottom line is if this guy's focusing on boxing, expect big things. No doubt. No doubt. No wonder why Oscar De La Hoya is tweeting like a little girl. But thanks for the stats, my man Henrique. I like I said, I didn't even realize. I just didn't know. Just didn't know. My man Robert Thus 4778. Robert Thus 4778 or Robert Thus. I don't know. You know who you are. He says, Billy C., the reason why boxing is not as hot as it used to be is because Mayweather and Pacquiao, they're not fighting. Billy, the sport is doing bad because no boxer wants to fight. Neither boxer wants to fight, and that's the truth. It's like saying the Yankees don't want to play baseball because they want all the ticket sales revenue. Boxing is a fighting sport, and nobody is fighting. And Mayweather and Pacquiao are whining about BS. He says, shut up and fight, you guys. He says, shut up and fight. You guys are boxers, not soccer players. I know what you're saying, man. I know what you're saying, Robert. And it is still the most intriguing fight out there. But you know what? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's time we, speaking of Mayweather, he's getting out of the Slammer, his little country club jail, his little girly jail he's been in 1 month early. He's getting out, I guess, Friday, right? I guess Friday he's going to be out. He's going to be free. And then he's really going to piss off Oscar. When I could just imagine these guys who's going to be picking him up. I wonder if he gets his suit. You know how you do some time, real time. When you get out, I think they give you $100 and a new suit. Here you go, man. Hey, see you. I wonder if Floyd's like, hey, listen, I want my $100, man, and the new suit to boot. I want my suit and my $100. Come on, man. And he's wondering who's going to be picking him up outside. He'll have a limo there. Come on, man. Come on. Come on, Alabi's going to be there. But I don't know if they're really I don't think boxing is. I think they waited too long. I really do. I agree with HBO, and when they said that Mayweather and Pacquiao had a shelf life, and I think they did, and that life may be over. It may be rotten. It is already a decline. I actually think there's more of an interest in watching Floyd than there is in Pacquiao. Pacquiao's looked terrible, and then Freddie Roach hasn't done any better, with other fighters. I just think that whole, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. The whole little interest level, the persona, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. It's gone, Now you say to yourself, oh, Floyd, no, not Robert Guerrero. Floyd will kill him. I got news for you. If Selkirk Iden knew how to fight a little more, Iden would have killed him. Listen, don't get me wrong. Robert Guerrero, and I'm going to get to that. You know what? Let me stop because I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But I like Robert's little comment at the end. You guys are boxers, not soccer players. Yeah, but the only thing is they want to make soccer player money. Don't the soccer players make some big bucks, man? At least some of them do. Manophonic 77 says, and this was from La Barbie looks hot. Yeah, she did look hot. He says, how do you see a possible Froch-Pavlik match panning out? I see it as a relatively safe fight for Froch, but a good workout and payday in America or England for Pavlik. I see it happening. I do. I see them trying to cash out on Pavlik. I see Froch winning the fight. It's either that or they're going to try to, get Pavlik in there with somebody else for an easy shot. Froch. I don't know if they're going to give. I don't know if they're going to make that fight as Froch's. Froch has a couple of options before, before he steps in with Butte again, and Butte picked a punching bag, literally a stationary statue. So listen, Carl Froch traditionally has fought some tough opposition. I agree with you, Mano, that. It wouldn't be a tough fight. I think Kelly Pavlik's days are well behind him. Really, as much as I can't stand Bernard Hopkins ruined the kid. And, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Bernard Hopkins had his number and schooled him. And there's no other way to say it. Bernard Hopkins schooled Kelly Pavlik to the point where he just never is going to get back. If he was able to campaign at middleweight, maybe he gets a shot because the middleweight division is open. But in the super middleweight division, come on, man. There's not only quality champions. There's a lot of quality young fighters in the division. There's no room for Kelly. Kelly has not impressed me at all. But thanks for the emails. I got to take a break. When I come back, we'll talk about the fights that took place this weekend, specifically the big fight between Robert Guerrero and Selkirk Iden. It was an entertaining fight, man. No question about it. And the undercard was good too. Well, we'll talk about that as well. All coming up in about 2.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretcher, that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From upstate New York in the good old U.S. of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters. Track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man. www.kofantasyboxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.kofantasyboxing.com, and tell them Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C., the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting me? Wait, what?
Wrong.
What's
wrong,
the problem?
Billy
What?
C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask you
wrong
to
speech.
leave.
What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on tpsradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty tpsradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. I want to welcome the Fight Now audience just joining us. If you don't have Fight Now in your sports channel lineup, you need to call your local television provider and tell them you want Fight Now right now. For all the information about the channel, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. And the Hulkster, right? Hulk Hogan. You know, I wonder what they pay him for that. You know, him and, what's his name, from the Cowboys, Troy Aikman, they do the commercial for Rent-A-Center or something I see all the time. You know, where you rent stuff, you know, like a TV, couch, you know. I just don't want to own it. I just want to rent my TV, you know. You miss the bill, you're sitting on your couch sleeping, all of a sudden there's a knock at the door. Sorry, man. A couple of moving guys come in. Sorry I didn't pay for your couch today or your TV. Take everything up. And the bottled water, too. Whoa, wait. Wonder what they pay those guys to do that. You know, but I was asking where my man Hanging Fire, I said, I wonder where my girl Kaylee is. He says, I heard Kaylee's with a new radio host that had a longer, thicker, and more of a real mustache. Yeah, I know. You know. That's what they go for. He probably didn't have any grays in his either, bro. But anyway, Robert Ghost Guerrero and Selkirk Ina. I thought it was a great fight. I loved every second of it, you know. I even like watching Robert Ghost Guerrero's father come out like he's Santana. He's got the Santana look, you know, with the hat and the glasses. It looks like he should be in a rock band or a, you know, whatever kind of band, you know, salsa band, you know, instead of being in the corner. And I'm not so sure he gave Robert Ghost Guerrero that much, you know, great instruction. But then again, I don't know. I just thought the fight was great. I will tell you this. This is my opinion. You know, the way the fight went down is the judges scored it 117, 111, 116, 112 twice. I had it closer. I had it 115, 113, and I could have seen that fight being a draw. I could have also seen that fight going in Selkirk Iden's favor, and I'll tell you why. When a lot of those punches that Robert Ghost Guerrero appeared to be landing were actually hitting the gloves of Iden, at least on my TV set. And again, I'm not crying robbery. I'm not crying anything other than the views that the camera angles gave. you always got to give the ringside guys the benefit of the doubt. But it was clear when Selkirk Iden's punches landed on Robert the Ghost Guerrero, especially those body shots. Listen, I give the Ghost all the credit in the world for withstanding some of the body attack that he withstood, because there were some devastating body shots that were landing. Not only were they landing, they were landing. They say that the best body shots are the ones landed on the side and stuff, but Iden was landing some right down the center, man, right in the breadbasket. That had a slow, and you could tell by the 10th round that Robert the Ghost Guerrero was slowing down. I mean, just the way he was walking back to his corner and the way he plopped down on the chair, and I give him credit for keeping his volume, or at least appearing to keep his output, his volume output up there. Whereas I thought that Iden did not take advantage of his early round work by softening up Guerrero's midsection and slowing him down. It worked. The guy was slowing down, but Iden didn't kick it up. I was expecting, because it seemed like in the 8th and 9th, or I should say 7th, 8th, and 9th rounds, that Iden was like kind of conserving his energy, and I was thinking, man, this guy's going to make a full push for a knockout in these last 3 rounds, and it never came. Yes, he was throwing some punches, but he was looking for the one punch. There were times when he had Robert the Ghost Guerrero right where he wanted him, and he just didn't unleash. Listen, here's the bottom line. What won the fight, in my opinion, for Robert the Ghost Guerrero was his superior boxing skill. End of story. If Selkirk Ida knew how to box more, if he was a little more polished as a fighter, I think the outcome would have been totally different. I think Robert the Ghost Guerrero's ability to use his jab and to be more ring savvy than Selkirk Iden made the difference in the fight. Selkirk is a one-dimensional fighter, and he made no qualms about that. That's the way it was, and that's the way he tried to win. And I think that the superior skill and hand speed of Robert the Ghost Guerrero gave him the victory, and a deserving one. I mean, listen, that was a grueling fight. Don't for a minute think that Iden was an easy fight. I mean, if there's anybody, I haven't read anything yet, but if there's anybody out there that thinks that this was a powder puff opponent and they were just giving Robert the Ghost Guerrero a belt, and now he's calling out Mayweather and all this stuff. The bottom line is he jumped up 2 weight classes and fought a legitimate, big, strong puncher. And you could see that that was an issue for Guerrero. Some of the shots that he did land flush in the lower divisions would have stunned his opponents, and it didn't. Not once did Iden look stunned. As a matter of fact, he looked as fresh after the fight, facial-wise, without any bumps or bruises, nothing like that. So a very entertaining fight from start to finish. Loved it. I especially loved after the first round. We all know that Robert the Ghost Guerrero is one of the classiest guys outside the ring, and we all know the story. And what a touching story it is about the marrow donor that they brought, the girl from some other country, I forget which country, cute little thing, and Robert the Ghost Guerrero's gorgeous wife, and all of the trials and tribulations they went through with her health and everything else. I mean, it's a tearjerker. It's a movie, definitely a movie in the making. But we all know, and Robert the Ghost Guerrero and his wife are very religious. They're family-oriented, blah, blah, blah. Nicest guy you ever want to meet outside the ring. I loved it after the first round when, Selkirk Iden. Now, these two were exchanging some or mostly from Iden, was exchanging some, negative stuff. I'm going to break your jaw. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And after the first round, it was kind of heated. I mean, that first round, they were getting right at it. There was no feeling out round. Iden tries to touch his glove, and Robert the Ghost Guerrero looks at him and says, I'm not going to be your friend, man. Come on, I'm not going to be your friend, And I think that actually, that statement right there changed the complexion of the fight right then, and it made. I think it got into Iden's head, and I'm not sure he ever got out of it. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure it ever got out of his head. But I love the fight. Now, what's next for Robert the Ghost Guerrero? Well, they all want Mayweather. His shoulder looked fine, so I was wrong about that. I thought his shoulder had some issues, but apparently I'm wrong. Didn't look like it was bothering him at all. Let's just take a look at a possible fight between Robert the Ghost Guerrero and Floyd Mayweather. You know what happens? Floyd Mayweather kills him. And the fight's not even close. Floyd Mayweather knocks him out. Floyd Mayweather knocks out Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Now, I'm not saying that Floyd punches any harder than Selkirk Iden or anything like that, but I'm telling you right now that Floyd Mayweather Jr. knocks out Robert the Ghost Guerrero. And it's a great fight for Floyd because here's a guy that's going to be calling him out. Here's a guy that arguably is a top fighter. He's young. He's in his prime. All of these things that we blame Floyd for not doing, you guys, the fans, are going to want it. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants to see Floyd fight somebody. And all the Robert the Ghost Guerrero bandwagon jumpers are going to be crying for Floyd. We want Floyd. We want Floyd. And Floyd's going to be like, all right. Because that's how he says all right. Instead of, just saying okay or all right, he'll go, all right, I'll fight him, for $100 million, some crazy thing. And 50 Cent's going to promote it, I'm loving it. Look at all the money that Floyd Mayweather and when you get to call him Fitty, when Fitty and Floyd promote the Mayweather Guerrero fight, think about all the money that they were going to make, and it's going to be a relatively easy night for Floyd, But as fast as Robert the Ghost Guerrero looked against Selkirk Iden, that's going to be the difference in hand speed between Floyd Mayweather and Guerrero. Guerrero's going to be thinking about throwing a punch, and as his hand is leaving to deliver that punch, Floyd's going to be like, bam, 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 bam. No, it's not going to be competitive. I hope it doesn't happen, but I think it will. Now, the co-main that we got to see. And incidentally, I love what Showtime does, showing you the undercard on their other channel, the Extreme channel. I love it. And a couple good fights there we'll get to. Georgie Groves, I'm glad he looked good, huh? And, one of the listeners, one of you guys sent me an email about Adam, I was going to say Adam West. Whatever his name is, Adam Booth. Yeah, Adam Booth, who's the trainer for Georgie Groves and also David Hay. Somebody suggested that he should train, some fighter, possibly Amir Khan. Yeah, it was Amir Khan. And I didn't know. I got to admit, listen, I call a spade, and I was wrong. I think Adam Booth did a fantastic job with George Groves on this undercard, and I'll get to that in a second. But, I didn't think he was that talented, to be honest with you. Because David Hay really, when he fights, when he wants to fight like he did against Chisora, that was all David Hay. I wasn't giving Adam Booth any credit, but I probably should, and I was wrong. And whoever sent that to me is probably right, that maybe Amir Khan is better off with a guy like Adam Booth. The only difference with Adam Booth is that he'll try to promote Amir Khan to fight the Cupcakes, which some of you guys think he should, But Coach K is in the chat room telling me not to underestimate Guerrero. Against Mayweather, Coach? Come on, man. Come on. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Robert the Ghost Guerrero, especially after his last fight. I loved his fight against Casitas. I thought it was a showcase fight. But in a heartbeat, Floyd Mayweather has an easy fight. I'm going to go on record as saying that. He has an easy fight against Robert the Ghost Guerrero. Easy. So, and I love Guerrero. So, that's just my opinion. Sean Showtime Porter improved to 20-0. Oh, by the way, Selkirk Iden drops for the first time in his career. He's 23-1 right now with 17 knockouts. Robert the Ghost Guerrero, 29 wins, a loss, and a draw, 18 coming by knockout. Showtime Porter. Sean Showtime Porter just doesn't flow right. He needs a different nickname, I think. But he improved to 20-0 with 14 knockouts when he won a 10-round decision over Alfonso Gomez. What kind of coach is saying? Oh, he'll fight a different kind of fight. What kind of fight's he going to fight? I mean, he's not a guy that likes to get up in your face and rough and tumble fight. He's not. He's gonna. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong again. But it sounds like you're leaning towards him, Coach. I don't know. Listen. There's nobody really out there for Floyd, and I don't know. I could see Robert the Ghost Guerrero giving Pacquiao some trouble, but I don't know about Floyd. But anyway, Sean Porter, he beat Alfonso Gomez. The scores were a little closer than I thought the fight was. I mean, the one score is the way I saw it, 98-92. Another judge had it 97-93, and the third had it 96-94. Which I don't know. I mean, Gomez landed some shots, but Sean Porter. Listen, this is my thought process on Sean Porter. I love watching Sean Porter. What I like about him is that this kid is in shape all the time. He never quits. He seems to never run out of gas. He's a respectful young guy. That's all the positives. He's got some pop. I think his negative is that his height. His height is such a handicap. I mean, listen, I'm probably his size. I'm 5'8", 5'8.5", whatever. And I mean, in the normal world, I'm not exactly bigger than most. And Sean Porter's usually in the ring with guys that are bigger than him. And what happens is he comes in because of his aggressive style. He comes in head first. He's not doing it blatantly, but he does. And the problem, sometimes when fighters go in with their head, a la Bernard Hopkins, Evander Holyfield, even Marvin Hagler at times, the coach is saying the major problem will be the weight. Floyd will have to fight below 147. Why? If Robert Goes Guerrero wants to fight Floyd Mayweather, he's going to have to fight at either 147 or even at 154, depending upon which title Floyd decides to keep. The question is what weight does Floyd feel comfortable in? It's Floyd's. Listen, Floyd has made it, and this is going to kill me, Coach. I know you know how I feel about Floyd, but this is going to kill me. But let's face it, it's Floyd's baseball. He gets to pitch. He gets to call the shots. I mean, he how can I argue with that? Back to this fight, there's two belts. The belt that Coach K is saying that the belt is 147. Yeah, but Floyd has two belts. Floyd has the 147, and he's got the 154. The WBC has not enforced their rule of making a decision on which title you're going to keep within 10 days. They did not do that with Floyd. But Floyd has both belts. He's got 154 that he beat off that he won from Cotto, and he's got the 147 that he beat what's his face from. So he's got both belts. Guerrero has an interim belt. It's a silver belt. That's an interim belt, which I found pretty strange that they weren't saying that belt belonged to Iden, because if you look at the record, his last fight was for that silver belt, and then all of a sudden it wasn't anybody's, And Floyd doesn't care about the belts, Coach. He doesn't care about the belts. The belts, there's no enticement from Floyd. And I got news for you. I don't even think Floyd pays sanctioning fees, to tell you the truth. You're right. That is the problem. Coach says the real problem is it's going to be about Floyd. It is about Floyd. But the real problem is that everybody listens. It's not going to be about the belt. Floyd doesn't pay sanctioning fees. So when these sanctioning bodies want Floyd, they let him get by. And it's going to be a matter of I don't know. It's going to just be a matter of who he wants. It's a sweepstakes. It's like hitting the lotto, But Sean Porter, his style of fighting, the way he comes at you and stuff, which is so exciting for us. But, man, this poor kid, in a couple of more fights, I mean, his face is going to be like chop meat, man. I mean, I just don't know how he's going to keep going with all the weak tissue that he's going to have in his eyes, man, around his face, his head. Generally guys that move in, what I was starting to say is generally when guys move in with their head, and I use those three fighters as an example, Holyfield, Bernard Hopkins and Marvin Hagler. I mean, usually they inflict the damage on the other guy. It just happens. I don't know why. I can't give you an explanation, but usually it does. But that's not the case with Porter. Porter seems to do the damage to himself. No disrespect to his father, and I know that these two guys are really close. I know that Sean and his pops are really, really tight. And no disrespect to his father, but I really think that Sean Porter has not improved. Sean Porter is the same Sean Porter I saw 5 fights ago. The difference is he's down in weight, and he's fighting in a weight class that he should be in. I love their relationship, and I think it's great, but I think it's time for them to add, not to replace. I want to emphasize that. I'm not suggesting for a minute that Sean's pops leaves the training deal, but he needs to add another dimension and help Sean Porter go beyond his own knowledge. I think Sean Porter's father has reached his maximum potential when it comes to training, and he needs that next level guy to help Sean. And it's time for them to bring on a hired gun, all right, a hired gun. And, not that I think he's the best out there, but the reason why I'm going to mention this guy's name, and I've said his name before, and I probably have even referenced it to this particular couple, the Porters, but Buddy McGirt, I think, would be a good fit as as that second guy, not as the main guy, because Sean's father's the main guy, but as that second guy to help them develop. And the reason why I say, if it were up to me, the reason why I picked Buddy McGirt, yes, there's better trainers out there. Manny Stewart's a better hired gun, and so is Freddie Roach is a better hired gun. So is Hasim Richardson. He's a much better. He's probably the guy to get. I'd pick Richardson or Buddy McGirt. But the reason why I choose Buddy McGirt in this particular match, with these two, with the Porters, is because Buddy knows the complexity and the fragileness, is that a word, of father-son training teams. And I think that Buddy McGirt would help them, as a hired gun, so that's what I think. That's what I think. They need to get him in there. They need to get him in there, because if not, Sean Porter is just, you know what? If not, and I was talking to this to the best kept secret in boxing, Sherman Henson, last night, and if they don't do this, if they don't bring a guy like Buddy McGirt or Hasim Richardson or somebody that can really get them to the next level, you know what he's going to end up? He's going to just be another Andre Berto. He's with the exception of this crazy stance that Berto has, he's very similar in style. And speaking of Berto, he was also in ringside. Did you catch the boos for him? Huh? Did you catch the boos when they put the camera on him? Man, gives you. I think that tells you they weren't booing him because they don't like him. They were booing him because of the steroids. Boxing fans don't want to hear about steroids. They don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that a fighter's cheating. He did not feel comfortable when he heard the boos. You could see it on his face. Coach K says exactly. Hatton should have added Mayweather as a coach, not get rid of Billy Graham. And he says add the specialist. That's what good businessmen do. Exactly. But anyway, Sean Porter had a decent fight against Alfonso Gomez. Couldn't knock him out, but Gomez has got a chin. I thought Gomez's days are gone. He's become a punching bag, really. 23 wins now, 6 losses, 2 draws, 12 coming by knockout. Yeah, he had his moments, but I don't know where that score came from. The 96-94, I really don't. But Sean Porter looked decent, but he needs some help. In a fight that was, I thought it was the most strange fight I've ever seen. Bruce out of Albany. I was shocked to see some guys I know in the corner. I didn't realize Bruce was fighting out of Albany. He fought Hugo Centeno, and Centeno looked good for the first few rounds, and then I don't know, it looked like he ran out of gas. It kind of looked like a high school senior fighting a 7th grader, in size difference. But Hugo Centeno improved to 15-0 with 8 knockouts, and Bruce took some shots, but didn't go down. He drops to 14-8 with 8 knockouts, 80-72 twice, 79-73. I had it 80-72 myself. It was a total shutout. I guess one judge gave a courtesy round to Bruce, but he did come on strong in 1 or 2 of the rounds. But for the most part, it was a Hugo the Boss Centeno showcase. But on the Extreme channel, they showed the undercard, and Georgie Groves, he improved to 15-0, and he beat Francisco Sierra. Now Francisco Sierra is a guy that right now his record has dropped to 24 wins, 6 losses, and a draw with 22 knockouts. But this is a guy that has taken on really the creme de la creme of fighters in his weight division, and he usually took them on with very little notice, last-minute sub, or 2 weeks' notice where he didn't train or he just didn't train. And he's a real awkward guy. When he throws his jab, he kind of leaves it out there for a second. He kind of pushes his jab. And he's got some pop, man. He's definitely got some pop. And he landed a couple good shots on George Groves. But George Groves showed me that, and he also made me think that maybe Adam Booth isn't that bad. Showed me a lot of versatility, and when he got that cut, his corner showed that they know how to work a cut too, man. That cut looked like somebody took a chisel and chiseled a piece of his skin off out of his eye socket. And after that first round, it stopped bleeding. I mean, after the first round, he sustained it. It stopped bleeding. It came back a little later, but he looked real good. I'm a George Groves fan, and talk about a guy that's risen pretty quickly. Not only does he batter Sierra for some of that fight, he knocks him out, which is also pretty tough to do. 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the 6th round, and I'll tell you, if you didn't see that fight, try and check out that knockout. Man, does he first of all, it's amazing that Sierra got up, and the stoppage was justified after the next knockdown. But the first shot, I mean, it nailed him. His arms go down. He staggers back, and Groves nailed him 2 or 3 more times, flush to send him down to the canvas. I thought for sure that he wasn't getting up, and he did. He gets up, and he does brush off his gloves. He does take a step forward. He did respond to the referee when they asked, "Do you want to continue?" He said yes. And then Groves comes out and ba-bam, right between his guard, lands another shot that got Sierra in some trouble, and the referee jumped in and stopped it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, talking about down here.
Hit Joe Lewis's ass.
Joe Lewis was 75 years old when he fought.
Huh? What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C show. He's Billy C, and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. If you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, you need to call your local television provider, whether it's satellite dish or cable, and tell them you want Fight Now right now. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call them. For all information about the channel, you can find it on their website, www.fightnow.com. Hey, don't forget, if you like other sports, check out Talkin' New York Sports with Billy C and Brooklyn Mike. We've been airing live on Saturdays. We're going to be on the radio dial on Sundays. We're excited. We had a real fun time last week. You can check out all 3 shows up on BillyCBoxing.com. And we do it once a week. We'll be airing our show next week. And we'll be talking about the NFC. We're going to be starting to break down, getting ready for the football season. The real football. That's American football to you you British or anybody else on the planet that calls soccer football. But we're going to be breaking down the teams and see what they got going into 2012. And we're going to start off with the NFC, so check that out on Saturday from 8 to 10. Or you can just listen to it on the replay whenever you want on BillyCBoxing.com. We're going over the fight card from Saturday night. We're going to get into all the results from the bigger fights. Also on the undercard, they couldn't compliment the George Groves. Really, we had 3 good fights on that card. The Groves fight, the Porter fight, and, of course, the main event. The Centino fight was nothing special. Paul Mendez improved to 8 wins, 2 losses, and a draw when he beat up on LaShawn Sims, who drops to 5 wins and 11 losses. All 3 judges scored it almost a shutout in the 6-round fight, 59-55. Also, a heavyweight making his pro debut improved to 1 win, no losses, with a knockout when he smacked around Blue DeLong, who lost for his 4th consecutive time. He's 0-4. The official time was 2 minutes and 36 seconds of round numero uno. It didn't get out of there too much, but anyway, WBO featherweight champ Orlando Salido, 39 wins, 12 losses, a couple of draws, 27 coming by knockout now because he stopped Moses Gutierrez in the 3rd round on Saturday night, 2 minutes and 49 seconds to be exact. Gutierrez drops to 22-9. In the bantamweight fight, Juan Alberto Rojas improved to 37 wins, 7 losses, with 27 of his W's come by knockout. When he won a split decision, struggled with a guy he should have really manhandled, and that was Jose Carlos Vargas, who drops to 13-6-1. Let's see. I got a question from Cool Man, who's in the other chat room. Cool, man. I'll tell you this. Go on to www.billycboxing.com and go into the chat room there. There's more people in there. But he wants to know, why do you think Manny Pacquiao got beat by Tim Bradley? I don't. I think that Manny Pacquiao beat Timothy Bradley. I think the reason why on paper he got beat is because the judges gave it to Bradley, and I think that honestly, I think Top Rank is setting himself up to get his next cash cow, and that's going to be Timothy Bradley. So check it out, man. Go over into the other chat room. But anyway, we're doing some fight results here. He says, super featherweight Humberto Gutierrez, who was fighting Guillermo Arroyo, had an 8-round draw with Arroyo to drop to 28 wins, 4 losses, and a draw. 21 coming by knockout, and Arroyo went to 17-3-1. So there's a couple fights there. Also on Saturday night, we had Ronnie Rios. Yeah, I'm just not sold on Ronnie Rios yet. I'm sorry. I'm just not. He improved to 19-0 with 9 knockouts when David Rodella. Now, I told you David Rodella was a tough fighter on Friday when we broke down the fights. And Rodella was starting off pretty strong, giving Ronnie Rios everything it could handle. But he ran out of gas and got stopped in the 9th round of a scheduled 10-rounder in California. 1 minute and 14 seconds was the official time there. Also, we have in Julio the Kid Diaz, who's no kid anymore, not once but twice world lightweight champ. He got back in the ring and scored a 5th-round knockout over Henry Ayurad, who dropped to 14-5. In the 5th round was the official. 54 seconds of the 5th round was when they gave him the official win to the Kid, who improves to 39-7 with 28 knockouts. Former world champ Edgar Socha improved to 46 wins and 7 losses, 27 of his wins coming by knockout when he stopped Shitaka Akihara in the 9th round, and Akihara drops to 22 wins, 3 losses, and 2 draws. So, and the co-main on that one was Mickey Roman. This was a fight that actually was supposed to be better than it looked, and it was. Because, Miguel Roman, who was supposed to have an easy time with Dante Jardin, had anything but. The fight ended in a split decision, and Mickey Roman won, and he improved to 38-10. But Dante, Crazy Jordan, you could have argued that he won the fight, who drops to 20-3. So we'll see what happens there. Coach says Mayweather fights Bradley, beats him up. Then Mayweather tells Pacquiao, "Beat Bradley, then I'll fight you." I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think Mayweather's going to go for Bradley, but he would. Who knows? He beats them both now, And I'm the first to admit it, because I was a guy that actually thought that Pacquiao could beat Floyd, but. 2 more fights I want to talk about Saturday, and we'll get into Friday night fights. Les Sheridan improved to 29 wins and 6 losses with 17 coming by knockout when he won a 12-round decision over, talk about a throwback fighter, Yuri Boy Campos. His real name is Luis Ramon Campos, and a former world champion. And Les Sheridan captured the WBF World and IBF Pan American Pan Pacific titles in Australia by beating Yuri Boy Campos, who drops to 100 wins, 17 losses, and a draw. 79 of his wins come by knockout. So congratulations to Les Sheridan there. That was a decent win. I don't care how old Yuri Boy is. But my favorite result of Saturday was reading, and I didn't see it, but reading that Luis Enrique Grajada scored a 6th-round knockout, officially at 1 minute and 28 seconds of the 6th round, over a guy who has become a fraud in boxing. And you know that's my word of the year, fraud. In Hector Camacho Jr. Does this tell anyone who actually thought that Camacho was a player? I mean, listen, they were talking about a scheduled title fight. They were talking about an upcoming major fight for Camacho, and it was all after this one. Now remember, he fought the guy that was selling popcorn at the venue a couple of weeks ago when they had this guy step in at the last minute, and Camacho knocked him out and started bragging that he's back, he's this, he's that, he's the other thing, and they seemingly put him in with a winnable fight against Guerrero, who going into this fight was 12 wins, a loss, and a draw with only 10 knockouts, never fighting outside of Mexico. Was very talentless, just a brawler. He comes at you and just wings punches. And they were so counting their chickens before they were hatched. And it just goes to show you that Camacho doesn't train, man. And when he does, he's not that good. He's just not that good. Hopefully this is the end, man. Put a fork in Hector Camacho Jr. He's done. Friday night. I don't have anything against Hank Lundy. I really don't. But this guy talks more than he performs. He really does. I thought he won the fight. I thought Hank Lundy won the fight. I'll be honest. I thought he won the fight. I thought he squeaked it out. But I'll tell you the truth. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't rooting for Beltran, Raimundo Beltran, who got the win. I love it. I love it. The way the scores were 96-94 twice, and one of the judges had it even at 95-95. I thought Lundy won the fight 96-94. I thought he squeaked it out. But I'm glad they gave it to Beltran. And like I said before, I wasn't ringside. So, maybe what I thought was scoring wasn't. But, that there was the early on in that fight, both fighters were rocking each other. I think what really won that fight, coach says no way Lundy won. I had Lundy winning by, 96-94. But I tell you what, I think what won the fight for Beltran, really, was I think it was the first or second round, when he had Lundy in all kinds of trouble. And, Lundy was about to go down. It was the end of the round. And Lundy just lands this shot that stops Beltran's assault. And he staggered back, and it was like, it was amazing. And they both looked at each other, and the bell didn't even ring, and they both acknowledged that they both were hurt and tapped gloves, and then the bell rang. And I said to myself, you know what? I think, he's saying, you're saying no way Lundy won. Oh, okay, no way Lundy won. I thought Lundy might have squeaked it out with a 96-94. I'm happy that Beltran won the fight. But are you saying no way, period, Lundy won? Or are you saying no way? There is no way that Lundy won. I'm a little confused with the. That's why I don't text. That's why I like the good old fashioned telefono. But from what I was watching, I thought maybe Lundy might have squeaked it out. He was landing some punches that appeared to be landing, but then again, I couldn't believe ESPN bringing Zab Judah. Now I don't mind watching Zab Judah fight. But come on, man. Come on. This guy shouldn't. You can't put a microphone in front of Zab Judah. I mean, whether you like him, he's saying Lundy lost. Okay, so you think Beltran won? So I wasn't there. So I'm glad Beltran won. I picked Lundy. I thought he squeaked it out, but I don't think it was a robbery by any stretch of the imagination. But and I'm kind of glad he lost. I'm glad he lost. Now I just want that Scourge, the Boxing 360 promoter. I just want him to just waste all his money in court over this whole Lundy situation, and just go away. He's the worst thing for boxing. He's a wannabe with a capital WB, But anyway, that's another show. The bottom line is Zab Judah was. Yeah, I know. I think Mosley would do. Coach is reminding me that next week they have a in-studio guest. It's going to be Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley is going to be better. The only difference about Shane... See, now here's the thing. Zab Judah is not punch drunk at all. It's just that he doesn't know how to speak English. He talks, like ghettoese or something. I don't know what that is. What do they call that? It just sounded terrible. It sounded terrible. I mean, maybe it's my age, maybe it's me, but to me it was terrible. I loved when Joe Tessitore, kind of goofed on him when he started talking about what's next for Zab Judah. Well, what's next for Zab Judah is, it's like, whoa, I loved when you talked about yourself in the third person. And a lot of the guys do. It's not just Zab. I mean, Roy Jones does it, and, Mayweather does it, so. But I just thought Zab was terrible. I think Mosley might be better. I don't know. The bottom line is we'll have to wait and see about that. But that doesn't matter about the fight. The fight was the fight that was the fight. And I'm glad Beltran won it. Hammer and Hank is now 22-2 with a draw. He's got 11 knockouts. And I don't even know if he's hammering anymore. He's humming. And Ray Beltran is 26-6. The co-main event was one of the strangest fights I've ever seen. Farrah Fawcett, Enos, the Quiet Storm. He improved to 20 wins and a loss when he won a 10-round unanimous decision over Richard Pearson. Now, Richard Pearson is a feel-good story. We talk about him in the past, but this guy just what was he thinking? Like it was a 29-round fight, or that he had this, savage knockout power that he was just gonna, put Enos into next week. I mean, what a blowout, and the scores indicated that 99-91, 98-92 twice with the way the judges scored it, and one of the most boring fights I've ever seen on any network, let alone. Let alone ESPN, which has really sunk into the abyss. But anyway, some other fights on that card that we didn't get to see was in the middleweight division. Ishmael Garcia improved to 4-0 with a knockout when he took care of Kenneth Moody, who drops to 2-4 by knocking him out to get his first round knockout in the first round. Also, light welterweight, junior welterweight Josh Mercado, he improved to 6-1 when he won a decision over Corley Sloan, who dropped to 2-5-1, 4-round decision, 39-36, and two of the judges had it at 39-37. So that's a little undercard information, a little underwear information. But and then my man Austin Killeen, he was ringside for another fight in. Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he was at the Wool Warehouse. It seems like the Wool Warehouse for men. We like the way you look. Did you ever see that commercial? We like the way you look. No, it's a different warehouse, but he calls me. Austin calls me from ringside. I don't know if you can hear me, but the crowd is going crazy. And he told me about a fighter that we both like who won. But anyway, in the main event, Josh the Pitbull Torres fought Joe Gomez, and the way it worked out was that Josh the Pitbull won the fight. So and you got to read Austin's write up. He doesn't just do coverage. He writes stories about it. So with his opinion, which I like. But he said it was a good card out of Albuquerque. And, hey, check it out. Now, there's a guy, the guy that he called me about is one of his favorite fighters. And it's kind of funny because when I was in Albuquerque recently, and he's like, oh, man, you're going to get to see this guy. You're going to get to see this guy. You're going to get to see this guy. This guy's name is John Smiley Herrera. Now, he's out of Roswell, New Mexico. Now, Roswell, in case you've heard of Roswell, of course you have. That's where all the aliens are living. They got, like, condominiums and stuff for the aliens. And, Austin says, I don't know why anybody would live there. It's like, yeah, well, the aliens live there, man. That's Roswell. But Smiley Herrera is from Roswell. And, he says, now this guy, the reason why they call him Smiley is because he smiles all the time. And when you talk to him, he says, I don't know why they call me Smiley. I don't smile. It's like, have you ever watched a tape of yourself, man? Have you ever seen yourself fight? You got this smile on your face. And I've seen him fight where he does not throw a lot of punches. Well, apparently he threw some punches in this fight. He was able to slip some punches, and he made his opponent Yoel Gonzalez miss him, and he ended up winning the fight, and he won by knockout. So I love getting that from Austin. So check out his article on that one. But anyway, that wraps up the fights that took place on Friday and Saturday. Again, my thoughts on Robert Ghost Guerrero. He is an impressive guy. He's good for the sport, but he's not beating Mayweather. And I don't know why they would even suggest it. I'm not sure. But I know that they're going to try for it. I know that they're going to try for it, and we'll see what happens. So I don't know. I say personally, I say that it's not a competitive fight. Now, Coach K disagrees with me. He says, it's going to be a decent fight. What about this kid, Bartholomew? No, not the one fighting this weekend in Georgia. I'm talking about Rancis Kid Blast Bartholomew, who's taken on the nickname Kid Blast. I never heard them refer to him as that, but he's going to be fighting August 18th as part of the he's the co-main event of a Warriors boxing promotion called Miami Warfare. It's the second one. And he's going to be taking on Alejandro Rodriguez, who's 14 wins and 6 losses. What do you think of this kid? Bartholomew, Rancis Bartholomew. He's this is one of these guys. He's one of the. He was supposed to be one of the top guys from the Cuban coconut raft when they came over. But he's been in some fights, some good ones, and I don't know. He's not getting the recognition as some of the others are. But we'll have to wait and see. That's who his opponent is. I'll wait and see because he's the brother of Jan Bartholomew, and Jan Bartholomew is another one of these two guys. I just don't. Honestly, I just don't. Out of all the Cuban fighters, they're the ones that I have a question mark with. The Bartholomew brothers. But the main event on that card was going to be pretty decent. Britis Prescott, who's looking for a new claim to fame, is going to be taking on my man Gato Figueroa, who I love this kid, Francisco Gato Figueroa. I will tell you this: it's Prescott has got a good opportunity with Figueroa. Now Figueroa, he's got the skill set to do well in the fight. But the problem is, I think his mind has already ended his fight career a little bit. I think he feels that, his career is pretty much over. He's trying to just get the right money to provide for himself and his family. And, when you go into fights with that kind of a mindset, things that you really don't want to happen. So we'll see what happens there. But now, getting back to the co-main with Jan Barthélemy, the brother of Rancis Barthélemy. Now, Rancis is undefeated at 16-0. Jan Barthélemy, I think, is he's the one that suffered a couple of losses. Now, Kid Blast, as he goes by now, Barthélemy, Rancis, he hasn't, I don't think he's stepped up and fought the level of opposition that his brother has. So we'll have to wait and see. And Jan is rated in the top 10 by at least one sanctioning body, and I believe he's got 2 losses. I believe he's got 2 losses. Not that matters, but I believe he does. But we'll have to wait and see what goes on with the other Barthélemy. But anyway, I was talking about Hank Lundy and Friday night fights, and thinking that it was a little closer. I'm glad Beltran won, but I scored it for Hammer and Hank by a point. But it was made public that Boxing 360 president Mario Yagobi, who should be nowhere near a boxing business, but he says that it was in the press that he said that he doesn't care that the New York Supreme Court Justice Charles Ramos ruled against him in the last-minute injunction to cancel the Hank Lundy fight on Friday. He said, my lawsuit against Lundy and Jimmy Birchfield's Classic Entertainment Sports is by no means over. He said Boxing 360 has sued Lundy and CES on July 18th, and for the reasons were declaratory relief, breach of contract, fraud, and misrepresentation, together with the claim for punitive damages. This guy's a whack job. He really is. He's a guy that thinks he knows everything about everything. All right? And he obviously knows nothing about the boxing business. And even if he wins, the thing that makes me sick about guys like him is that he's got deep pockets. So, this is all part of his juice. Some people like to jump off a cliff and into a cold body of water. Some people like to go skiing. Some people like to drive fast cars to get their adrenaline going. This guy likes to pretend he knows something about boxing. And and as a result, he's going to go into he's going to go into a lawsuit, an extended lawsuit, waste taxpayers' money and everything else over something stupid that he probably is not going to have a leg to stand on. Because I guess what he doesn't understand is that when it comes to contracts with fighters, the only validity, at least in New York State, is if it's approved by the New York State Athletic Commission, a boxer-manager contract, or even a boxer-promoter contract that extends past one fight, has to be on file with the New York State Boxing Commission, and it has to be approved by them. If it's not on file, and if it's not approved, then they're not going to get any support. Now, they can still go to trial on it, but as far as being a boxing and falling under any protection, see, if he had just a smidgen of a brain, he would have filed it with the state and do it correctly with the New York State Boxing Commission, the Athletic Commission, and then they would have went to bat for him, and then he probably would have won. But he knows it all.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing
with Billy C.
Time for another major in golf. This time it's across the pond for the Open Championship. What's at stake? That's next on Sports Shorts with me, the Sports Princess.
Want to put some wild into your weekend? Come to the all-new Mesquite Pro Rodeo. Corral seats start at just $12, and kids are always half price. Get your tickets at Kroger and save $5.
This weekend, meet the Rodeo Legends. Tractor Supply sponsors the Neil Gay Cowboy Reunion. The city ends and the Wild West begins at cool air-conditioned Mesquite Arena, I-635 and Exit 4, 7:30 Friday and Saturday. Mesquite is the official rodeo capital of Texas.
Filled with tricky pot bunkers that you have to climb into, no less, this year's Open at Royal Lytham and St. Anne's in England is certain to be tough, even for the most seasoned professional golfer. Tiger Woods, who hasn't won a major in 4 years, is looking to pick up his 15th career title. The last American to win at Royal Lytham was David Duval in 2001. Should Woods win, it would be his 4th Open, the last back in 2006. The Americans and the Europeans and everybody else in between know that this is no walk in the park, and with rain expected, they'll need more than umbrellas and a good caddy to navigate this 7,086-yard course that rewards great ball striking and punishes the rest. Whoever wins the Claret Jug will no doubt be playing some target golf at this major. I'm the Sports Princess with Sports Shorts.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the number 1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway, up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette, he's just a buttonette, coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Don't forget, every night is Fight Night on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you don't have Fight Now in your sports channel lineup, then you need to call your local television provider, whether it's satellite dish or cable, and tell them that you want Fight Now right now. For all information about the channel and what's on tonight, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. But, yeah, that's the card I was talking about, Coach. That's the card I was talking about. Usually he's on that. I think the guy you were mentioning in the chat room, which I'm not going to mention on air, was on that card. So maybe not. Oh, maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't. But you were at the one I said I wasn't going to talk about. So, Brian Minto. Brian Minto is going to be fighting again. You know what, Brian Minto. I'm not going to. Well, I guess I am going to take away from him, but he's been around. He's a former world title challenger. He's got a record of 36 wins, 5 losses. He's fighting again August 18th. He's fighting a guy, that's we've heard of him, but he's like Minto. They usually are on the losing end for the big fights, and they're usually beating up some schlep for the little fights, and they're fighting each other. Mike Shepard and Brian Minto are going to be fighting for the vacant NABA heavyweight title. We'll see what happens. I don't know, man. Brian Minto to me is basically, he's like watching, 2 drunk guys get into a fist fight out in the parking lot of a bar. I mean, it's entertaining. Yeah, man. Everybody loves to watch those kind of fights. There's no question about it, but he's not a boxer. When he gets put in with one, he gets beat, he gets smacked around. So I don't know if I'd pay money. I mean, maybe at the Mountaineer racetrack. I mean, what else are you going to do in Virginia, West Virginia, wherever the hell it is? But I don't know, man. I don't know. Brian Minto, I mean, and he's arrogant, too. He's an arrogant guy. He thinks that he's, Joe Namath or something. But hey, I want to. My man Coach is mentioning some stuff in the chat room, and it actually is about Star Boxing. My man Joe DeGuardi. I want to congratulate them and say happy birthday. This past weekend, they had a card that was actually in celebration of their 20th year being active in boxing promotion. So congratulations to my man Joe and his whole team there. We got Chop Chop Corley, who still owes me money, but he's always trying to find a fight. Anytime somebody wants to throw him a payday, he'll take it, and he's been doing pretty good lately. He's upset back-to-back fights. Well, now he's offered to step in for Kareem Mayfield, and we'll see what happens with that one. So we'll see what's going on there. Hey, Chop Chop, make some money so you can pay me. Danny Green, he fought last week on Wednesday in the Land Down Under. I was making fun of his opponent, Danny Santiago. Danny Green smacked the snot out of him, knocked him down a bunch of times, 4 to be exact, until finally they put him out of his misery by stopping the fight at the end of the 5th round. Here's the thing. We can make fun of Danny Green all we want. We could say whatever you want. I mean, this is a guy that had an appendix operation and came back, or was it gallbladder? It was one of the two. Might have been gallbladder. I think it was appendix. And was world champion in the super middleweight division, in the light heavyweight, and of course the cruiserweight division. And he lost his belt to Antonio Tarver. He was probably juiced up. And, he had retired, then he unretired, then he retired, then he unretired. Well, they asked him. Now, I was also saying, we complain here in the States about, pay-per-views and not getting quality fights on all the time and all that. Australia's got to pay for all their friggin' fights. Like this one was a pay-per-view, but it was sold out, too. This guy draws like, a kid with a crayon. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. So, him being coy, they said, well, what are you going to do now? After this great performance, after you knocked out Danny the Bronx Bomber Santiago, who hasn't won in a while. What? Coach is saying, gallbladder operation, that's what Morales is claiming against Danny Garcia. Oh, he's saying, right. He had the gallbladder. But Danny Green, I think, had he had an appendix, didn't he? Yeah, I saw that. He's saying 50 Cent signed Billy Dibb. I wonder why. Billy Dibb is, he reminds me of Steve Molitor. A guy that just is not that good. I guess 50 Cent needs to have some opponents too, right? So anyway, let me get back to Dan. Would you let me get back to Danny Green? He says, they're all saying, oh, what do you do now, Danny? What are you doing now, Danny? He says, who knows? I'm not going to make any decisions right now. There have been some offers, and Bebop Shumanov, the WBA World Light Heavyweight Champion, he took 9 rounds to defeat Santiago, never dropped him once, and we got a pretty good gauge at where I'm at Wednesday night. So whether or not the offers are coming from Bebop Shumanov, it looks to me like Danny Green knows exactly where he wants to go at this point, and that's to fight Bebop Shumanov. Problem is that there's not much money to fight Shumanov unless they fight in Australia. Australia, maybe Danny Green promotes a fight or one of his peoples, and then then maybe even Bebop can Bebop can make some money too. So we'll have to wait and see. But Danny Green, he says he don't know what he's going to do, but we all know that means he's going to do something. So we'll see what happens there. There's going to be back-to-back boxing events, days apart, August 11th and August 12th, in the Dominican Republic. Now, who's putting them on? Samson, my man, Samson Lukowitz, Samson Boxing, in association with Mangutila Promotions, are going to be putting on back-to-back shows, and both of them featuring world title events. On August 11th, Santo Domingo's hometown hero, Katie Pamela La Super Baby Wilson, who's 15-1, is going to be making the first title defense of her IBF female super bantamweight title against Crystal Hoy, who is the mandatory title challenger for La Super Baby Wilson. Crystal Hoy has 5 wins, 4 losses, and 3 draws. She's out of the Philippines. How the hell does she maneuver herself into a mandatory position? Oh, that's right. She paid somebody off. I got it. Either that or La Super Baby Wilson paid them off to let Crystal Hoy get in there. Hoy. The other fight is going to be, the co-main event on that night will be Victor Kao. Remember him, Victor Kao? My man just beat Victor Kao and got himself a couple of more opportunities. But Victor Kao is coming off that loss, and he's got a record now: 28 wins, 3 losses, 20 coming by knockout. And he's going to be taking on Julio Lapara de Jesus, who's 15-0. So Kao's going from Nate Campbell, losing to Nate Campbell into this fight against a 15-0 fighter with 14 knockouts out of San Francisco de Macorís, and that's going to be for the Caribbean title. So, we also have the next day is going to be the main event, and it's a pretty good undercard for the 11th. But on the 12th, another female fight as the main event. IBF female featherweight champ Diana Santana, who's 29-6 with 13 knockouts, is going to be making a world title defense against Helen Joseph, who's 11-1 with a draw with 6 knockouts out of Nigeria. And the co-main event is going to be Juan Carlos Abregu, who's 10-0. He's going to be taking on John Nader, who's 9-2, and that's going to be for a youth title in the IBF. So, a couple of decent shows in the Dominican, back-to-back, August 11th and 12th. So, we'll be looking forward to those in a couple of weeks. Next week, right? Is it next week? Yeah, it's next week already. How about on August 24th? We got Randy Caballero is going to be fighting Manuel Roman in a 10-round bantamweight fight. It's scheduled for August 24th, and that was confirmed last week, so we'll see what happens on that one. But, it looks like that fight might very well be on Showtime. So we'll have to wait and see about that on the 24th. I talked about this last week a little bit. I'm happy about it. Gennady Golovkin is going to be making his world middleweight title defense against Gregats Proska, and it's going to be taking place September 1st at the Turning Stone Casino, but which is an okay place. I mean, it's one of those casinos that's depressing. You could tell that people are, gambling their paychecks away. There's a difference about casinos. You go to a casino that's like got a lot of class and all the beautiful people are there and they're spending lots of money and they win or lose and they're laughing. They're having fun. They pull up in the Maseratis and it's the glitz and glamour. I mean, that's a casino, right? Whether you're part of that or not, you could be the brokest, poorest, ugliest person in the place, but it's still a nice atmosphere and you like it. Everyone loses, and yes, it's depressing, but not as depressed as when you go to some of these casinos like the Turning Stone, that, so many people are in there with gambling problems that are, gambling their paycheck, gambling their rent money, gambling the kids' food money, and every time I go to Turning Stone, it's like I can see it. You can see it in their faces. And it makes it for a bad time. You go to Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, and I'm sure that there's people doing the same thing, but you at least don't notice it. You go to Vegas, most of the places on the Strip. Now you go downtown in Vegas, and you might see it, but Turning Stone is just, I don't know. I'm glad that this is a great fight for the place, and HBO is going to be there. But as far as the casino itself, I'm not so. I don't get a warm and fuzzy feeling about them. That's for sure. this really surprised me. Well, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But, Ruslan Shagayev, he's a former heavyweight champ. Now, not too long ago, about 5-6 years ago, I thought Ruslan Shagayev was the best heavyweight in the division. I really thought so. Until he fought Klitschko. And it was dismantled. And ever since then, he's not been the same. Now, Shagayev has, I think, a form of hepatitis. I'm pretty sure it's hepatitis. The reason why he's kind of been forced to fight in Germany is because hepatitis. Germany has a vaccine for hepatitis that you don't get it. Like, in other words, you get if I have hepatitis, I get this shot, and then for I don't know how long it lasts, but for X amount of time, you can't get hepatitis from me. So that's why they let fighters get it, or maybe it's the other way around. Maybe if I'm fighting you and you got hepatitis, I get a shot to prevent me from getting whatever they have some kind of short-term vaccine for it. So therefore, once Shagayev contracted hepatitis, his opportunities of fighting elsewhere went down the toilet. So he's been stuck in Germany and places that I guess use that or don't blood test or whatever. Well, it was announced yesterday, as a matter of fact, that Ruslan Shagayev, who's been signed with a promoter forever in Universum, will together, both Ruslan Shagayev and the powers that be at Universum, decided that they're going to end their contract, which was still in force, but by the end of this month, which is this week, the contract is over. It's going to be null and void, and that's the end of that. Now, they did announce that Ruslan Shagayev will fight one more time under the Universum banner as part of the mutual agreement for them to split, and that fight's going to take place in Russia in September. So apparently that was on Universum's side. They owed Shagayev one more fight, and they think that Shagayev is done. I think he very well may be done as well. Because of not only fading skills, but also the fact that he's very limited at where he can fight because of the disease. He says, they wish him. Universum says we wish him all the best for the future. We owe him one more fight, and we're going to oblige by it. He says the mutual move is part of our youth movement by Team Universum to focus on developing young prospects. It sounds like it's more on Universum's side than Shagayev. So, but what's he gonna do? He's limited, and come on. But anyway, who's he fighting? Coach is saying he's on the Felix Sturm card. Who's he fighting? Do they have an opponent for him? Coach also says a lot of female fights are below the equator. Yeah, well, female fights are underestimate. I don't understand, and I hear some people saying the BS of, the promoters don't want to put female fights on because they're afraid that they can't get last-minute replacements if one of the sides drop out. Well, we got a main event. We actually have 3 female fights scheduled to be on the card in Whitehall. At least the promoter has 3 fights scheduled. I say we because we're doing the broadcast. But the main event is Chevelle Halbach, which is going to be a fantastic fight between her and Victoria Cisneros. Then the co-main event is, he's talking about, Coach is talking about a fight next week in Rochester, where the co-main event for the August 24th fight may very well be one of the fighters that's on that August 8th fight. So I'm not going to mention her name, but it's a female fighter. And then there's a pro debut fight, Linda Peo, who's out of New York City. She's going to be taking on Naomi Boscus, who's this hot little thing out of Tampa that I've gotten to call her fights before, and she's good, man. So this ought to be a very entertaining card for females. And then the male fights, which we're going to be announcing, we're going to be doing some kind of press release probably this week, is all going to be competitive younger fighters too. So we'll see what happens. But just to give you a little heads up, in a couple of days we got Broadway boxing. Lou DiBella is going to be putting on another one of his Broadway boxing series fights. It's Thomas Uzenthusen, who's undefeated, 19-0 with a draw, with 13 coming by knockout. He's taking on Roland Bryant, who I've seen several times. Also, we got Shawnee Monahan, who's one of the biggest frauds I've ever seen. He's in a light heavyweight, and he's taking on Georgie Armenta, who's a journeyman-type fighter. Now, in case you wanted to see that fraud, but the main event is good, but if you wanted to see Shawnee Monahan fight, you can check it out right on Fight Now, because they're going to be doing that card too. So we'll see what happens there. On August 3rd and 4th, that's right, back-to-back nights, we got Top Rank is doing some great stuff. On August 3rd, Mercito Gesta is 25-0 with a draw. He's going to be taking on Ty Barnett, who's 19-2. I believe that's going to be an ESPN fight. Mickey Bay out of Cleveland in the lightweight division is going to be taking on Rob Frankel, who's an upset guy happening all the time. I'm not saying he's not a good kid, Coach. He's sticking up for Sean. Coach is like, he took an anti-Billy Seed pill today. He's disagreeing with everything. I'm not saying he's not a good kid. It's just that he can't fight too good. I don't think he can. I think he's... they're afraid. The team was looking for an opponent one time, not the last fight, the fight before, and they were afraid to take a 500 kid, a kid with a record of 500. They were afraid to take. Oh no, he's too tough. If you're gonna brag that you're 15-0 or 12-0, whatever the heck he is, and you don't want to take on a 3-3 guy, come on, man, come on, But anyway. Main event, Ty Barnett is going up against Gesta. Mickey Bay is going to be taking on Rob Frankel in the first of back-to-back shows by Top Rank at Texas Station in Las Vegas. Our very own Tony Cheen is going to be ringside covering that one. On Saturday, August 4th, through the Telefutura Network, we're going to see Diego Magdaleno against Antonio Davis. My man Hanging Fire, who's in the chat room right now, he's going to be ringside for that one. Or at least he's going to be there. I'm sure with all his money, he works for the government. Of course, he's going to have ringside seats. That fight is going to be he's taking on Davis, Antonio Davis of Georgia, for the NABF Super Featherweight title, and Mike Lee, who they keep trying to build this guy as a potential future star. The biggest star he's got is the Subway commercials. He's the boxing character. Who actually plays one inside the ring. He's 9-0 already with 5 knockouts. He's going to be on that card too. So that's what's going to be taking place this weekend at Texas Station. And Hanging Fire says, yes, of course, all of us government workers are going. It's on us. We're paying those damn things. But we also got a big fight with WBO Super Bantamweight champ, former WBO Super Bantamweight champ, Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. Is not taking on Rafael Marquez. That's right. Did they find a replacement for that, or did that whole card get canceled? This got to be updated. I didn't even check this out. As far as I still know, Juan Carlos Salgado is going to be defending his crown against Jonathan Barros on the 4th. And we got... don't forget about this important fight at the Seven Feathers Casino. See, now that's like the Turning Stone, I'll bet you. I've never been there, but I bet you it's like that. It's unbeaten middleweight Mike Grabanowski, who's 9-0 with a draw, 8 knockouts. He's taking on Kevin Hand, who's 3-2-1. And that's what's going on there. And Coach K is reminding me Deontay Wilder against Kurtz and Manswell. That's right. That's this weekend, too. That's actually going to be a good fight, I think. But anyway, yeah, Hanging Fire. He works for the government. He'll be sitting ringside. I don't know. I don't know. I was kidding. If the government did not pay for his tickets, he makes plenty of money from the government. He can afford buying his own damn ticket. They're just providing him with the limo and all the girls for the night.
Wake up. It's time for the... It's too early for a trivia question.
All right. Today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is being brought to us by Gleason's Gym. And if you haven't signed up for the Boxing Fantasy Camp, this is their 10th year, I think they're doing it. Give them a call right now, 718-797-2872. That's 718-797-2872. Tell them Billy C sent you, and that you want the Billy C a discount. That's a good thing. Plus, they got some of the proceeds go to, great Give a Kid a Dream Foundation and all that happy stuff. So make sure you do that now and email us and let us know about your adventure, what you're going to be doing, because we want to follow you around. But speaking of which, I got to give a shout out to my man Dax Khan. Dax has been under the weather. He's recovering, and he'll be back soon. So no fear from anybody that Dax is not coming back. He is coming back. He's just battling some stuff right now, and he's going to be better soon. As a matter of fact, I think sooner than later, because he's a tough hombre, and he's not going to let anything keep him down. He's my man. So we will make sure that we keep you posted on what we can about Dax Khan. So what's on the line today is courtesy of PrizeFightingBooks.com. It's a book on Burt Gilroy. The name of the book is called Gilroy Was Here. This book was actually written by family members about the late Burt Gilroy. And this was a guy that was a fighter that fought many titles, but never really got a shot at the world recognition that he wanted. When he did fight some fighters, they were always way bigger than him. It's an interesting read from the perspective of the family. And you probably never heard of Burt Gilroy, so it's a good historical thing for you. Courtesy of PrizeFightingBooks.com. If you know the correct answer of our trivia question, which has been floating around, and you got to email it to me. It's Billy at TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. Now, if you're listening to the show as a replay, or if you are a premium podcast subscriber, which I urge you to become, you may be listening to this show a couple of days later. If you know the answer, always email me the correct answer, because a lot of times these questions hang around and people assume that the answer's been answered, and it hasn't. The question's been answered. Like this one has not been answered correctly yet. Who fought in the most fights from 1980 to 1989? Who fought in the most fights from 1980 to 1989? I'm going to give you a big hint. I'm going to tell you how many fights it was. 104. Now, we've been way higher in the previous decades, but this decade, between 1980 and 1989, the fighter who fought in the most fights fought 104 times from 1980 to 1989. So if you know who this person is, email me, Billy at TalkinBoxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com. And if you're the first one to get it right, I'll send you the Burt Gilroy story, courtesy of PrizeFightingBooks.com. So good luck to everybody there.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being brought to us by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble, and that is Campanaro and Tomkovich. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. I want to give another shout out to the WBF, the World Boxing Federation. You got to make sure you get that right, because there is another WBF out there that's not the same. If you want to learn about the WBF and all the improvements that they're making, you got to check them out on our website, www.billycboxing.com, and click the WBF banner, which you can't miss. It's on the left-hand side. Okay, on this day, July 30th in 1992, Al Ice Cole wins a 12-round decision over James Waring to win the IBF World Cruiserweight title, and that took place on this day, July 30th in 1992, in Stanhope, New Jersey. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. Make sure you tune in. Don't forget, Only Fight Now will have a show for us on Friday. Everybody else, we're going to be taking a day off, but I got one more thing to say. make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, same bat time, same bat channel. There's only one channel, the Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider right now and call tell them that you want Fight Now. Yeah. Call your local television provider and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel line. It's that simple. For all information about the channel, you can find it on our website, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.